Behind me is the Opera House of Budapest, and in front of me is another iconic building, the former Ballet Institute, which is now a W Hotel. But I'm not here for these buildings. I'm here to go to two places, two very special spots. One of which is a well-known location in the city, but that has a dirty secret, a hidden history, something extremely shocking. And the other one is a place that had a huge role in altering the course of human history and changing the fate of humanity once and for all. Now I'm gonna go there by taking this metro, which happens to be the very first metro line in all of Europe. Technically, it's London, but UK people, they like to separate themselves from Europe. They always say, over there in Europe, and those Europeans, I'm going to Europe, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, you're separate. In that case, this is the very first metro line in all of Europe. It was opened in 1896 and has been functioning ever since. And as you can see, everything is quite small. It's much smaller than the other three lines that were built here later. And this is gonna take me to that first location, the shocking one. So let's go. It goes in a straight line. I am right here, and I'm going here. The line goes like this, just a straight line. It's very quaint. I think small, so small. Look at this carriage. This is from the 70s. Not much has changed since they first built this. Kodai Kurund, which translates to the circus of Kodai. Circus in the sense that this is a circular square, stretches all the way to the other side. This is one of the main squares in the heart of Budapest. I just came from the metro over there. Down there is the Hero Square, and this is the famous Andrássy Boulevard. What most people, including the locals, don't know is that this place has a very dirty past. Namely, from 1938 to 1945, it carried the name of the most infamous person in European history. Somebody whose name I'm not even gonna say because I don't want this video to get blocked. Let's just say that he was an Austrian painter who led Germany during World War II, and he had a very particular mustache. That guy. Imagine this square, all of this, for 7 years, it carried his name. One of the main squares in the city, for 7 years, was named the square of the guy. It's completely crazy. And I guarantee you that most people who live here have no clue about this dirty secret regarding one of the main squares in the center of the city. That's not him. That's somebody else. Son 14. All these statues on 4 sides, they represent a hero of Hungarian history, and all of them, for some reason, have something to do with the struggle against the Ottomans, who were here for 150 years. But yeah, it's crazy, completely crazy to think that people used to walk on this square, and in the corners of the buildings, perhaps there was a sign here, and it said that guy's name for 7 years. It baffles my mind. The other place I want to go to is not far from here. It actually, in a way, has a connection to this dirty secret of the square. It's right around the corner, literally over there. And like I said, this place, without any exaggeration, played a huge role in changing the course of human history and altering the fate of not only humanity, but of every living thing on this planet once and for all. So let's go there now and check it out. By the way, if you're wondering how it's possible that this square had this name, you have to know that Hungary was on the wrong side in World War II. But still, it's pretty shocking. I have no idea what this building is. It's not what I came to see. It says something here. Some kind of a church. I don't know. But yeah, the weather has been great in April. It's April 13th and it's like 28 degrees. It's been that way for the past almost 2 weeks. So I can't complain about that. And I'm coming up on the place. I'll be there very shortly. I'm at the Fosori Gymnasium. That translates to the high school on the tree-lined avenue. It's also known in English as the Lutheran Gymnasium. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what's so special about this? It's just a school, right? Just a high school. No. This high school produced more Nobel Prize winners and other notable people in the sciences, including mathematics, physics, computer sciences, politics, than any other on the planet. It's absolutely astounding, the people that went to the school. And 3 of its most notable alumni include Edward Teller, John von Neumann, and Eugene Wigner. These are the anglicized names of 3 Hungarian-born physicists who played an absolutely crucial and fundamental role in the so-called Manhattan Project that resulted in the creation of the atomic bomb. Now you might say to yourself, okay, but without this high school, would the Manhattan Project still, would it have happened? Would it have been successful? It's just a high school, right? Well, it's a good question and it's hard to answer. But I will say this. The level of the faculty that taught here was absolutely legendary, including people like the very famous Laszlo Ratz, a very noted mathematician. And the school in general had such a high level of teaching that there's absolutely no doubt that it contributed tremendously to developing the talent that strode its hallowed halls. In fact, the whole impetus for the Manhattan Project started because of two of its alumni, the aforementioned Eugene Wigner and Edward Teller, who were joined by a third Budapest native, the very famous physicist Leo Szilard. And together, they drafted a letter which was co-signed by Einstein, and they sent it to American President Teddy Roosevelt to convince him to start the Manhattan Project because they were concerned that the Germans are about to develop a nuclear weapon. Oppenheimer has become the face of the Manhattan Project. They made a movie about him, people know this name, and no doubt he was the leader of the whole project. But there's also no doubt that without the contribution of the alumni of this school, as well as other Hungarian-born physicists who are collectively known as the Martians because of the strange sounding Hungarian language that they spoke amongst each other, without their contribution, there would have been no Manhattan Project and no atomic bomb in the hands of the Americans. When I look at this building, I think to myself, wow, 100 years ago, there were students in there that took what they learned and they used it to change the course of human history once and for all, and ultimately to change the fate of, like I said earlier, not just humanity, but every living thing on this planet. And it's a testament to the level of the education that went on in this city, not only in this school, and in general, the way that society was. I mean, things are totally different today. It's still considered to be a good school, but it's nowhere near what it used to be. And by the way, people who are into physics, they've all heard of this school, because it wasn't just about the atomic bomb. The people that went there, they fundamentally changed physics, and not only physics, math, all the stuff I mentioned earlier. Quantum physics would not be what it is without Eugene Wigner and John von Neumann, two people that went to the school. Edward Teller, besides being involved in the Manhattan Project, he's one of the greatest physicists of all time. And the list just goes on and on and on and on.
And I will point out that Teller famously came from the Lutheran Gymnasium in Budapest with Laszlo Ratz as his high school math teacher.
And Szilard.
And with Szilard and von Neumann, and like the world's greatest secondary...
High school.
The world's greatest high school. No,
JV team. Yeah.
Give it up for the Lutheran Gymnasium.
I had a look at the Wikipedia page in English. It's an absolute joke. It's like a tiny fraction of the alumni that went to the school. So it doesn't do it any justice. And even the Hungarian Wikipedia page, it's quite lacking. There are names missing off that list. But believe me, it's absolutely astounding that so many geniuses could all go to this one particular school, and all within a certain period, which was the first half of the 20th century. It's absolutely incredible. So yeah, come to visit Budapest, because there's a lot of history here, a lot of things to see, and it's not always obvious, from afar at least. There's a lot more that can be shown here. I just wanted to give a small little example, a small little taste of what can be found here. So, from the tree-lined avenue in the heart of Budapest, I'm signing out. That's Eugene Wigner. That's his original name in Hungarian. That's John von Neumann. And that's, I don't know what his name turned out to be in English, but he's a Nobel Prize winner in economics. And this is one of the biggest geniuses in math. I don't know why they didn't put up the other names. 'Cause like I said earlier, there's so much more. It's astounding and just truly unbelievable. You know, it seems to me that 100 years ago, the powers that be, they had some kind of interest in developing people, because this is it's a good school. It was a good school. I mean, a tremendous school, but it was not a private for-profit school. So the kids that went here, they got to go here because they were good students, not because they had money. And today, it's nowhere near that level. And you can't find these kind of schools anymore where you can just go because you're smart and they're going to develop you to the maximum. It doesn't exist anymore. But that's how it was 100 years ago. And I can guarantee that the level of teaching that went on here as a high school would beat most universities today. There's absolutely no question about that. The world changed for some reason. So, yeah, we don't have these kind of schools anymore. But that's how it is. As to the question of this school having had an effect, it says that it was here at this school that the foundations of Eugene Wigner's education in natural sciences were laid down. And he studied here between 1912 and 1920. And it was from these sound foundations that he later achieved his results in the theory of fundamental symmetry principles, which formed the basis for modern physics, for which he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1963. Okay? So this school played a fundamental role in everything these people did later on down the line. And they admitted to that. I read in some interviews that the teachers that taught here and just the level of education that went on here played a huge role in their achievements. So yeah, give it up for the Lutheran Gymnasium of Budapest. And this time, I'm really out. Back to the oldest metro line in Europe. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's from 1896. Now, what came before that? What was the first in the world then? I don't know. Feltettek egy kérdést? Nem? Ja. Akkor önnek teszem fel.
Nem, kicsit nem. Ő gyagyas.
Hát értem.
Állandóan itt áll, és
Értem.
nem teljesen ért.
Azt ön tudta, hogy korábban ennek a térnek mi volt a neve?
Melyiknek?
Itt, Kodálynak.
Tudának. Én 60 év óta itt vagyok, azóta ez.
Én most tudtam meg, hogy korábban volt a neve.
Tényleg?
Tényleg.
Jézus!
38 meg 45 között.
Nem mondja! Na, ezt nem tudtam.
She had no idea. That guy's name is probably here. In fact, for sure. So like I said, this place says 1896. So that and everything else up there was his name for 7 years. Pretty crazy. Back to where it all began. Beauty. And some more beauty. The place where I was is just down there. I'm in the center. So that's it. Peace. Ecuador embassy. The music fits as well. All right. I'm really done this time. No kidding.